we're going to be talking about this afternoon is critical temperature monitoring, energy management, and the return on investment to both you and your customers regarding this. One of the things that you'll see more and more of is that more and more equipment is going to be coming out from different manufacturers for this type of monitoring. And I think it's an opportunity right now that we have open to us. Sam and I came from the HVAC, the R stands for Refrigeration Show in McCormick Place in Chicago a couple weeks ago. And this is becoming more and more where the heating and air conditioning industry is going to be getting into this business. They're also looking for RMR factors in their business. So it's something that if we as an industry don't start talking about it to our customers, other people are going to, and we wouldn't want to lose that opportunity. So getting started here, which button do I push? This one here?
Yep.
Okay. In the energy management opportunities, you can see on the screen here there's a lot of areas to be looking for these opportunities. As some of you may know, I had for 40 years a security installation and service company. And we found a lot of, when we started doing the energy management systems for customers, we found that the ROI that our customers experienced was, especially in the commercial area, was pretty extensive. Especially when you're talking about, if you look at the second and third bullet points, the office and warehouse, and really, and I should have also mentioned the loading docks. There's significant savings there when you get into buildings that have offices with a warehouse or manufacturing, and then also loading docks. And where the savings comes into play for the customer is the offices are typically 9 to 5. The warehouse and manufacturing could be run for 2 shifts. So when the office would close up for the night and they'd set their alarm system, their thermostats would be set back to a conservative level. The warehouse or the manufacturing would still be in a comfort level for the workers back there. And then when they would leave, they'd set the alarm system for the back area, and those units, rooftop units, would go into the conservative setting. But the loading docks typically have those hanging furnaces. And what I've been told from customers that we were working with is that those hanging furnaces will get cranked up when the loading dock is being used. So especially in the wintertime, they're going to crank it up to get a lot of heat blowing on them because those overhead doors are open. And they forget to turn them back down again. So when we install thermostats onto those hanging furnaces, they may be cranked up for a few hours longer than need be, but at least at some point they get set back when the alarm system is armed. So they're not running all night in this maximum heating level and running up the bills of that company. So there's a lot of opportunities for that. And also with Connect One, we can, if there is no alarm system or the alarm system is let's say it's turned off, but there's areas of the building that haven't been accessed through an access control system, we can follow that also. So it's not only the alarm system, but also the access control system can control the following of the thermostats for that particular installation. Critical temperature monitoring is another opportunity, and as Sam gets into the critical temperature aspect a little bit more, there's a lot of opportunities for that. If salespeople are going out and they're walking through an establishment that has freezers and coolers, and they see clipboards hanging next to those freezers or coolers, that's how they're logging the data. they're doing it manually. And that's a big opportunity for the salesperson to be talking about putting probes into those freezers or coolers to monitor that on a 24-hour basis and to also log those temperatures. Another area that we found was in the schools. Schools are more and more being mandated where they have to monitor the temperature in the refrigeration or the refrigerators where the students' medication is kept during the course of the day. As you know, students have to come in, they hand in their medication to the nurse, and then they're put into the refrigerator. That has to be monitored. Not all communities are mandating that, but we're seeing it more and more. And even if they're not mandating it, I think it would be a good practice to bring that up. The last thing you want to do is have that refrigerator get turned off for some reason. Maybe electrician's working on the circuit or something and turns off the circuit breaker, doesn't realize that the refrigerator is on that circuit, and now the student's medication is ruined because it got too warm. So as you can see, there's a lot of opportunities for critical temperature monitoring also, and it's just a matter of keeping your eyes and ears open to whatever prospect you're talking to.
This is an example of our RCS thermostat series. They're 4-wire thermostats. It takes a 4-wire directly back to the HVAC unit, and they're powered from our gateway module we'll get into in a minute. And it's a daisy chain configuration from the gateway unit out to the thermostats. They could all individually be controlled off that same daisy chain to control multiple or various different heating and air conditioning units. But again, it only takes the 4-wire back to the HVAC unit, and it powers from that unit as well. And as Mike said, the thermostats can be set to follow door status or arming conditions, however you have the system configured, wherever they're going to want to realize that return on investment for energy management can be set to follow. Those thermostats can follow that. And they are a direct replacement for existing thermostats. So they're very easy to reconfigure into an existing environment as well as add on to another, a brand new installation. When in doubt, because there's so many variables with the various heating and air conditioning units out there, there's a lot of different types of units. Just as a caution, you might want to confer from time to time with the heating and air conditioning professional to be sure that the adequate wiring is being drawn and that everything is compatible and is going to work with it before you commit. And that's only because there's so many variables with the different types of heating units that are out there. Nest thermostats don't require a gateway module. They're wireless. We tap directly into the Nest cloud so that we retrieve the data and communicate to the thermostat from there. So it's another environment to be looking for to control heating and air conditioning in offices. They're typically more a controlled environment unit, but it's no wiring required, no gateway necessary. So look for opportunities to utilize the Nest thermostats as well.
Just talking about the Nest thermostats, I was talking to a person this morning that said, I think I'm going to get a Nest thermostat. My wife turned up the heat and then forgot to turn it back down. He went to bed, and he said, I woke up sweating to death because it was so hot in the bedroom. And he said, it'd be nice to have a Nest thermostat so that, so that it has this built-in kind of learn your lifestyle program. From what I understand, most people are turning that feature off. It's a nice concept, and maybe in some situations it works. But I said, well, if you had an alarm system and you have the home, away, and night feature, when you go to bed at night, you push the night feature, and that would automatically set your thermostat to the temperature you want it at, instead of relying on some type of device that assumes it knows your lifestyle. So the Nest thermostats, they have their sizzle to them, but I'm not too sure exactly on how well it works in the real world environment.
These are one-wire probes. You can see the temperature range on it, minus 55 Celsius to minus 85 Celsius, or the translation into Fahrenheit is minus 67 degrees Fahrenheit to plus 185 Fahrenheit. Simple Cat5 daisy chain wiring. They can be put into hostile environments if it's a freezer or cooler or a solution. They're fully submergible. So keep in mind, so when you do have an area that's a hostile environment, that these devices will work well for you and respond in those conditions. No matter how many devices you put out, they're all individually programmable for high and low thresholds. So they don't all have to respond to the same temperature. So one might be in an area where you need to monitor 10 degrees, another one might monitor 40 degrees. Doesn't matter, they're individually programmable through Connect One to be able to have the thresholds and alerts set. We also provide a buffer vial to eliminate false alarms when the freezer door is open, if deliveries are being made, or if the freezer goes through a defrost cycle. It doesn't respond instantly. It basically retards the probe from responding to an instant temperature change and allows for that function to happen without an alert or an alarm going on. And it's a very accurate way of monitoring a remote area or a hostile environment. So keep those in mind when you're looking for those opportunities. Our network gateway module is a standalone device. It doesn't need to have a control panel with it. So if you have an environment where all the consumer is looking for is just critical temperature monitoring, keep in mind the gateway doesn't need to have a control panel to work with it. It comes pre-programmed. There's nothing you have to configure. It just plugs into an open port on the router, and no programming or anything is required on it. You can put up to 254 of the RCS thermostats onto it, or up to 50 of the one-wire probes out on the daisy chain configuration. So it allows you a lot of latitude to be able to put multiple devices on and monitor critical areas. Historic temperature logging is what Mike had talked about briefly, that if you have an area where they need to have documentation of temperature fluctuations in an area. Mike mentioned temperatures for pharmaceuticals. I was working with a dealer right now that has his business is heating and air conditioning, and he was telling us about Budweiser distillery or distributorships, for example. Budweiser requires that the distributor log the temperature every hour and report it back to them so that they're aware of what the temperature is should anything happen to that beer. And with the Connect One interface, you're able to program increments that you want automatic logging on in either every 30 minutes, every hour, every 2 hours, once, twice, 4, or 6 times a day. So you have a lot of latitude to configure depending on what the regulatory body or whatever that business requirement is, and it automatically logs and tells you what the temperature was at each of those given times. And it shows when you set that up what the high and the low temperatures have been in that area on those programmed points, as well as what the average was. That data is stored at Connect One for 365 days, and that report can be printed or exported, however you want to do it, as well as alerts can be emailed instantly, daily, or weekly, or if there's a guard service on premise, it can be sent as an on-screen pop-up directly to the person so that they can see exactly what's going on. And when that alert comes, it shows what the exact temperature is at that point. So if they're monitoring a temperature for, let's say, 30 degrees and they get an alert at, maybe something a little bit less than that, they'll be able to gauge travel time and determine how much time they have to get there before they have a critical condition. So it gives them a lot of valuable information in order to be able to monitor those areas.